Not as long as Crotter and Galza, but Crotter, I think 20 or something, 22.
I'm gonna maybe add the show to their show. Sure.
40 seconds.
Yeah, because I did a nice interview with him. We'll talk about other parts of maybe this. What is your workshop about? It's basically an introduction to everything that we do in Damanhur. Hey, Eli, how's it going? Yeah.
20 seconds.
I think it's okay. We're just gonna substitute. Anyway, don't bother because we have to be out of here. So by the time you get here, we'll be out.
10 seconds.
Okay. So no bother. I'll just substitute the book. I'll just insert it. Okay. Okay. No problem.
5 seconds.
Okay. Bye. Sorry.
I knew that.
I'm sorry. But we'll do something else. Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and I'm here today with a very special guest, Esperide from the Damanhur community. I've also talked to other people from the Damanhur community. It's a very amazing federation of unique individuals, I would say, living in a spiritual community together. Esperide, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Alan, for inviting me. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you. So, what drew you to, you've been there 14 years.
Yes.
Why did you go to that community? What was it about?
The Federation of Damanhur is probably mostly known in the world because we built the temples of humankind,
Yes.
which is this wonderful underground complex inside a mountain dedicated to the divine nature of humanity. The first 16 years, this building, this sacred building, was built in secret because the community could not get building permits. Because the region in which we are, in Italy, northern Italy, does not have regulation for such buildings underground. So the citizens of Damanhur decided to build it anyway, and then one day to make it public. But what happened was in 1992, a former member who had left the community 10 years before, all of a sudden started to blackmail them and say, if you don't give me this money, I will tell the police about your temples. And so this is what happened. And he went to the local police. The police came and they found a little room that had been built just for that, because when the people of the community of Damanhur started to blackmail, they figured maybe somebody could go.
Right.
And so they built a little room,
yes.
which was all in Egyptian style because it was very quick to do. And so the police came and they said, well, it's not a big deal, it's just a room, no problem. So this guy got angrier and he went to the main judge of the region. So one day, that was the 3rd of July 1992, the judge arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning with tons of policemen and carabinieri with explosives, and basically they entered this house and they said, well, if you don't tell us where your temples are, we blow up the mountain.
Wow. Were you there at the time?
Not yet. That's why, that's to answer your question, but I need to give you a long story.
Okay, yes, no, it's fine, yes.
And so when the head of the police and the judge entered, they said, well, now we're going to find your secret temples, and this will be the end of the community, because they were thinking that there would be something bad that they were finding, that maybe Damanhur was a cult. In those years, there was a lot of talking about cults. So they entered the mountain with this idea. When they came out, they were in tears, and they said, we apologize. We had no idea what you were doing, and we'll do everything we can to help you from now on.
That's really a beautiful story. That is really beautiful.
So one of the things they did was they said, we're not breaking the news to the press, because if these bit of information comes from the police, you can imagine the titles on the newspaper. So they said, you do what you want and you tell your story the way you want it. Just do it. And so at that time, I had a friend who knew the Federation of Damanhur. So through him, they heard of me. At that time, I had just come back from New York, actually, where I lived for 3 years before. And I was working in Italy as a PR. And I knew all the Italian journalists. So they invited me to go and see the temples.
But you were very spiritually based yourself before that, right?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe
totally.
Damanhur, not
Okay.
totally. I
Okay.
was much more involved in peace. I was very active
More
in peace
politically,
and more
not
politically
as
involved.
spiritual, but more political. I see.
I was always interested in changing the world. The idea of adding the spiritual dimension in such a strong way really came with me when I entered the temples at
Well, what
Damanhur.
happened? So you went over there as
So I
a
was
Jew-
invited to help them.
Yes.
And when I saw the temples and I realized the amount of dedication that these people had for the planet, really, for this gift that they were creating for humanity, I was really touched. So I decided to help them, and I started spending every weekend there to understand the community and find a way to talk about it. And then when we opened the temples to the public in October, then I got more and more involved, and then finally I decided to live there. And now I'm in New York City to present the book that I wrote about the temples.
Let me tell people there's this beautiful book published by Cosm Press, which is Alex Gray's company anyway. His Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, called Cosm, C-O-S-M, have developed their own publishing company. And the first book they published is this beautiful book about Damanhur, because the spiritual philosophy of Damanhur is very much in alignment with what's happening in Alex Gray's Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. So how did the whole book come about, then, that whole project? Can you talk about that?
Sure. So that was always a dream of mine, you know.
To publish a book about Damanhur.
Yeah, to be able to tell the world about the temples through art, because really art for us in Damanhur is one of the basic ingredients of our life, to make life beautiful, because we think that beauty is a very strong and powerful spiritual instrument for growth. And so that was always my dream. So then I met Alex Gray, and he came to Damanhur with his wife Alison and the team of his creative people, and we really decided that that could be a joint venture.
You knew Alex Gray's art. You were aware of his art.
Yes,
so
and I admire him very much.
And so you called him and chose him to invite him to Damanhur and said, we'd love for you to do a book about Damanhur.
Exactly.
But there have been other books about Damanhur, right?
Yes, there is another book that's going to be also available in the United States, called Damanhur, The History of the Italian Artistic Community, published by Humphrey Mead, the Santa Cruz-based publisher.
But that's not the same kind of, this is a beautiful big fold-out book with beautiful pictures of the temples. These are sacred spaces inside this mountain that's been hollowed out by this community of beautiful people.
It's really complex of many, many halls dedicated to the different elements. Halls. So
it sounds like holes.
No, rooms.
Rooms. Yes, yeah. Rooms, halls.
First we had to make holes, and then we could make the rooms.
Right, right. But it's a whole complex underground in this mountain dedicated to different aspects of the spirit.
Yes, exactly. To the history of humankind, to the divine within us, and all the different phases of human history. So it's really dedicated to human past and to the vision for the future.
Well, just give us a brief glimpse of what the vision for the future is, because the program is called New Reality. So what is this new reality that you see coming?
Well, we believe very strongly that the time has come for spiritual awakening if we choose it. So for us, what is really important is action. It's not enough to sit down and meditate. It's important to meditate and then turn every insight, every inner realization that we have into something practical.
Like what are these actions, practical actions?
For instance, in Damanhur, we have created a whole society. We have our own currency system, we have our own schools, our university, 80 economic activities, businesses, homes. We live in large families. So there isn't any aspect of everyday life that we haven't considered and reinterpreted, with the idea that as we change and grow, also our society has to change and grow to reflect our spiritual achievements.
And it really works. It really is working for you guys.
It is working for us guys, and hopefully it can work also as an example for other groups and other people that want to do the same. Because really for us what is important is to bring hope. The temples were built to bring hope to humanity. And Damanhur also, as our society, is there to prove that it is possible to live in a different way and combine spirituality with practical everyday actions.
It really seems like the society of the future. It really seems like a model for a world culture to come. Do you think it's possible to spread those principles that are in Damanhur to everyone?
Absolutely, and
Uh-huh.
we think that because we're 1,000 people, we are a very good social laboratory. So we are more and more inviting universities to come and study us and see the models that we're applying, also to give us suggestions on how best we can create our society.
We have to sort of wrap up, but I mean, I'm going to show a little clip of Damanhur as well. But give us some basic principles that the society runs on.
We have a constitution which
Yes.
is based upon principles, spiritual principles. The idea, again, is that we have a divine nature inside of us that we have to be able to manifest through our actions. So everything that we do is inspired by the ideals of spirituality.
But what are the specific points in the Constitution? Can you just name
Actions,
Actions.
solidarity, trust for one another, and giving everybody always another chance. So we always think well of others. Maybe you make a mistake, but you can always do better. You can always be given another chance.
So it's sort of like a social interaction has become the basis for a political action. Political as far as
We also have our own political movement. We run one of the villages in which we have citizens. We've been elected also by the local people, and it is the first time and the only occasion in the world where representatives of a spiritual community actually run the city for everybody else too.
Yes, people will love Damanhur. I'm actually planning on taking a trip over there and bringing viewers from the show and other New Reality members over there. So if you're interested in coming to Damanhur, please contact me at 212-473-6388. We're going to have a beautiful time there with Esperide and Quartola and Gaza. Lots of people, lots of beautiful people that I've met there. Look at this clip of Damanhur and really understand the nature of this community. Any closing words about just what's going to happen in the future there? What do you see?
Well, we really see lots and lots of people coming, like you want to bring a group, and we have Wisdom University this year also coming to Damanhur for their classes to be inspired and bring these ideas back and do even better than what we've done. That's really our hope.
And it's a great vision for the world. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Steinfeld. This is New Realities, and we are expanding into greater realities with Damanhur, Esperide, and many other guests from the show. Thank you for watching. Email me at newrealities@earthlink.net. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.